Hey guys, this is Tauna, and today we're talking about the Spider-Man set that is coming up. I am incredibly excited about this. I wanted to talk about what commander decks we could potentially see because obviously, we're going to be seeing some commander decks with this set. The set is a new set coming next year. We weren't sure entirely what it was going to be. It is going to be like the Final Fantasy one, like the Lord of the Rings one and stuff like that, with a full set, boosters, tentpole set, randomized boosters that you can do limited with, accompanying products, etc. So there's like a 99% chance that we're going to be getting commander decks, and then likely, there's going to be 4 of them as well, given they did that with Lord of the Rings, Warhammer, Fallout, Doctor Who. I don't think that they're going to do less precons. Like, I can't see them doing less precons, so it's very likely, that we'll get 4 of them. So this is meant to be a way to get people into Magic from, like, the Marvel fans and stuff, similar to how, Doctor Who brought some people in, Lord of the Rings brings people in, everything like that. So that means I want to talk about what we could potentially see in the commander decks. I'm going to be talking about it generally from like a Marvel point of view. I'll explain it a little bit for you guys, who aren't so up with Marvel and stuff, so that way you kind of understand what I'm going on about. But yeah, I wanted to kind of talk about it a little bit because I'm very excited. On that note, though, we are on our way to 10,000 subscribers at the moment. We are trying to hit that by the end of the year. We got a huge amount yesterday. Also, someone sent me an email about my lighting and stuff, so huge thank you for that. We're actually rearranging our whole computer room, so I'm not setting up the lighting properly at the moment, and you can see where my microphone is moved because I don't have the thing that my microphone was usually on anymore. So yeah, thank you for that. And, thank you for everyone who subscribed and everything. So, a note on the legendaries for the set. Obviously, Marvel and all the Marvel sets are going to be very legendary heavy, right? Like the Lord of the Rings one was, like the Doctor Who one, Fallout, all of them were very legendary heavy. Keep in mind, though, that we'll also get multiple versions of each character from different parts of the storyline. So you might have, like, a young version of Spider-Man. We might have a Peter Parker. We might have, an Iron Spider, that kind of thing. I don't mind it too much, especially when they are quite different. We did get 4 Frodos with the Lord of the Rings set, but also Lord of the Rings was a lot less for them to kind of build off than like Marvel is, if that makes sense. But even like in the Duskmourn, we had 2 different Vel'Gavots. So I don't mind if we have, like, multiple different versions of the characters, as long as they're quite different and from different parts of the story and everything. Also, while you might not like the idea of a Marvel set or the Spider-Man specific set, I like it. I'm very hyped about it. A lot of people down in the comments are and stuff like that. So just keep the comments civil. Don't be a dick about it. This is a great way for them to bring in more people into the hobby. And honestly, as long as they keep doing actual Magic centric sets, and that is the majority of it, which we are seeing, we had like, a whole bunch of Magic centric sets. And I don't think they're ever going to be stopping that. This year, it's going to be, just bringing more people into the hobby, essentially. So for deck number 1, I think this is going to be based around the actual 616 Spider-Man. So the main universe, storyline, and everything. The Spider-Man that everyone basically knows if you read, like, Spider-Man comics. Likely going to contain mostly just his main universe, supporting cast. So, like, the Spider family there, like that kind of thing. And then building up from that, like, some non-legendary kind of New Yorkers, police, the generic kind of support cast that he has within the comics that he sees, whether it's, some shield agents or something like that. Those kind of just generic kind of supporting cast. Now, Spider-Man has been described as green-white with a bit of blue, so like a band by Mark Rosewater, and I don't really disagree with that. He has said that, when he says that kind of thing, it's not indicative of future products. He's just kind of spitballing and it's his own ideas. But I generally agree with what he says, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was something like a Bant +1/+1 focus with maybe like a backup theme, maybe like backup mixed with like ninjutsu or something, because or a new take on ninjutsu with the spiders, or some kind of new mechanic there or something. So kind of like this characters that I'm thinking here, the kind of like the 616 spiders, so the ones that are from the main universe, so like, you know, the Madam Web, Ben Riley, Kane Parker, Silk, Anna Corazon, I cannot pronounce her name, Spider Girl, you know, Maddie Franklin, that kind of thing. But then you can also go with like, you know, Mary Jane Watson, Uncle Ben, Aunt May. Maybe we'll have like Uncle Ben comes out and you sacrifice him immediately to tutor up a Spider-Man. I don't know, something like that. We could do like, they could do a whole bunch of stuff from like these main kind of supporting casts in the actual thing. Maybe there's like a mix between like Spider-Man supporting cast and Peter Parker supporting cast, if that makes sense too. Like maybe, you know, we got like JJ or something along those lines. Next, I think they're going to do a Venomverse one. Like, if I am someone who's just like looking for Marvel presence and stuff, and I see Venom, I'm going to consider that for someone who absolutely loves Spider-Man, right? Like Venom is a big movie franchise now. He's one of Spider-Man's main adversaries. I know he's not necessarily an adversary. He's like, you know, sometimes is, sometimes not, sometimes supporting for Spider-Man, etc. But yeah, just most people think of him as an adversary for Spider-Man. But as well as that, like Venom has his own huge supporting cast, whether it's the million different takes on symbiotes and differently named symbiotes that can be the legends to go there. But then they can also fill it out with like non-legendary Venomized pawns, similar to what we saw within the Spider-Man 2 game. Spider-Man 2, they had like, you know, just random New Yorkers are getting infected by symbiotes and stuff. And, you know, that's a thing that happens within a lot of kind of like the Venom verse kind of stuff is, you know, people are getting infected and they got to go free them and stuff, like the King in Black storyline and all that kind of stuff. There's a whole bunch of different takes on it where people are just getting symbiotized, Venomized. So yeah, mostly kind of sticking to with the 616 ones, I think, where, you know, you're kind of sticking with the main universe stuff. And Venom has been described as green black by Mark Rosewater. And again, I do kind of agree with that, but I think that you could potentially push that out to Jund, right? Like, I think you could easily kind of push that out to Jund for a Precon, maybe like a token / sacrifice theme where, you know, they're creating like symbiote pawns and stuff, and then you're sacrificing them and stuff. Like, those are cool different things you could do there. So as for like the actual cast, you know, you got like Venom, Anti-Venom, Carnage, Toxin, Scorn, Scream, She-Venom, Riot, like just any of the existing symbiotes. There is a huge amount, like even like, did I put hybrid there? No, hybrid, like the 5 different ones that form hybrid and stuff, the Life Foundation ones. That's like this huge amount of different symbiotes they could do there. They could also do like Gwenom, right? Like Gwenom is the Earth 65 Spider-Woman, Ghost Spider, who she had the Venom symbiote, or a version of a Venom symbiote, for quite a while there. And then they also have like, you know, you could have Spider-Man symbiote as well. Like, that just makes sense to me. Like, you know, Carnage is going to be a huge seller, Venom's going to be a huge seller. This just makes sense. As for the next one, you know, Across the Spider-Verse, one of the biggest movie franchises, like animated movie franchises, one of the biggest, like, you know, Spider-Man medias that doesn't focus on Peter. Miles is loved by so many different people, especially in these movies, but even beyond that, like even in the comics, he was loved so much that when his universe got annihilated, he still got transported into the main universe. And, you know, there's a huge amount of like multiversal Spider-Man. So, you know, you've got Spider-Man from all these different universes that come together to form like the Spider Army, Spider Society, whatever it is at the time, to fight off whatever multiversal threats that are happening that are just wiping out Spider-Man across all universes, or just trying to wipe out all the universes. The interesting thing here is that Miles has been described as like white, green, red by Mark, and I would 100% agree with Naya, and I think that a Naya or Precon would be awesome, and I will be getting it day one if it's Naya. And I suspect this one could easily be like a Legends Matter Precon. Like, you know, like you could just have it as mostly just a whole bunch of different Spider-Man. Maybe you could have some like supporting Spider-Man in there that aren't named and stuff, and, you know, from there, you know, build that up or something. But I think overall you could just have it as just a whole bunch of 30 different Spider-Man. Like these are the ones that I could think of just off the top of my head as I was doing this. You know, you have Miles as like the lead, and then you could have Ghost Spider as the secondary commander, or you could have Spider-Man 2099 as the secondary commander. Both are like, you know, there's a whole bunch of stuff with multiversal stuff there. Now, I don't think they'll make it around the actual movie, right? Like, I don't think it'll be based around the movies or anything. I think it'll just be, you know, this is the secondary Miles Precon, and people love Miles, so I think that would sell easily. Just a huge amount of different Spider-Man that people love from a whole bunch of different universes that are all very different as well. Like, you know, Speedy Spider, I don't know how to pronounce that. She like has a mech that has like a magic spider within it, or technological spider, or technologically bio enhanced spider, or something like that in it. You've got like Spiderling and stuff, Cosmic Spider-Man, which is or Superior Spider-Man, which is Dr. Octopus when he took over Spider-Man's body. And yeah, the comics are very messy, but like there's so many different Spider-Man they could easily include within this. They could easily get 30. Next, we got these Sinister Six. Now, I was thinking Sinister Six originally, but then as I started typing this up, I'm like, if they went with Sinister Six, then you kind of locked in with like 6, right? Like 6 legendaries, essentially. You could include other ones that have ties with Sinister Six or have been on different versions of the Sinister Six, but I think it's just Rogues Gallery is better, right? Like just call it the Rogues Gallery, and then you could have like an enchantment called Sinister Six or something. So if you call it Rogues Gallery, that can include like all the basically Spider-Man villains. Not kind of like how they did Masters of Evil for Doctor Who, where it wasn't really like, you know, characters that work together or anything like that. It's just like the Master and then, you know, Davros and stuff. Like this would just be a whole bunch of different villains for Spider-Man. There's lots of different ways they could take it, but you know, like you could fill the deck with a whole bunch of Spider-Man villains, and then on top of that, like add in like generic goons or like Kraven's Hunters, Doctor Octopus's tentacles. Like, you know, you could do a whole bunch of different weird and funky things with it. Just generic goons as well. Like, you know, every once in a while they have to hire goons to work with them. You know, I think Vulture had like a Vulture squad at one point, right? Like Vulture had I'm pretty sure he had like minions who had like Vulture suits and stuff. You know, there's lots of different things they could potentially add in here. The real question here is what colors would it be? And I have no idea here. Like if Green Goblin is in there, then he's been described as like a Grixis command, like Grixis colors, but then Kraven was like described as like Golgari, and obviously they can kind of twist these depending on what versions they are and where they take place and stuff like that. But I don't know, it could be like a 5-color Rogues Gallery deck, and now that would be really cool and very interesting. And it could almost be another Legends Matter one. I hope there's not like 2 Legend Matter ones unless they're very, very different. Like maybe a Legends Matter one that Legends work together, and a Legends Matter one where the Legends absolutely hate each other like the Rogues Gallery does. You could also do like Villainous Choice or something, like a mix on Villainous Choice. You could do so many cool things with this. This is probably the one that I'm most interested in to seeing. So, you know, the characters you could include, like, you know, the original kind of Sinister Six there, and then you got like Rhino, Green Goblin, Shocker, Scorpion, Lizard. You could include Black Cat in there as well. She could probably be like, if I was including Black Cat, she would probably be Demir. I think she'd be Demir, right? I assume. Yeah, probably Demir. You could do like Mr. Negative as well. Like there's so many different things here. Almost like white is almost excluded. Like it might be 4-color instead. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what they could potentially do there. Now, these are obviously all my ideas, so I'd love to hear what your hopes for the precons are and stuff. Let me know down below. And thanks for watching. Again, make sure you subscribe if you want to hear all about, you know, the new releases and everything. I did a video like 40 minutes after all this stuff was announced. So if you want the latest news, make sure you subscribe. Have a great day and goodbye.